I just want to quickly talk about going to the most famous parts of Africa as opposed to going to the less famous parts of Africa. And by this, I simply mean that I really, really want to get our guests off the beaten track. There's no reason why anyone should suffer through loads of vehicles, loads of people, constant noise in the area that they're staying in, the constant noise of a radio crackling. You know, everyone should experience what in my mind is a proper safari, where the guides use tracking. They use the alarm calls of the bush to find the game, and then when you find the game, it's just for you or maybe one other vehicle from the same camp. It's the most beautiful experience. It's far more immersive, it's far more real, it's far more authentic. So in terms of that, our top spots for getting off the beaten track whilst not sacrificing wildlife viewing would be southern Tanzania, the Selous, Ruaha. Absolutely incredible. You'll see amazing things down there. Great for the cats, great for ellies, all the general game. And then Zambia. We have got so much product in Zambia which is off the beaten track, extremely high end, amazing game viewing, and again those great guides. The guiding at these places is better because remote places attract better guides because it's more of a challenge for them. They don't want to drive around after another vehicle searching for game which is right there in front of you. It's not attractive to see lots of vehicles around wildlife, and many of the busier areas of particularly East Africa are now becoming completely unmanageable. I know they're the most famous and they're what you'll have heard of, but they are not the best safari experience. So we've got southern Tanzania, we've got western Tanzania, Katavi, just incredible. And then, you know, Zambia is an absolute hotspot for getting you guys off the beaten track. And we've got but all of those destinations, we've got everything from rustic and authentic to really, really, really high-end properties. And you'll be in an area with no people, tons of game, you know, amazing food, amazing guides, and have a really, really authentic experience without the crowds. And I think it can be a shock now for people when they do go to the most popular or most famous areas of Africa, which is where we get the majority of our inquiries for, because obviously they get the most publicity online, on social media, in documentaries. And they get a shock because obviously when people post their pictures online, when people watch the documentaries, they do not show the rows of vehicles and the noise and, you know, the harassment of the animals. So this is just my little note to say, trust us when we're trying to send you somewhere that you haven't heard of, because we're never ever going to send you somewhere which is not going to exceed your expectations or is going to have bad game viewing. We're only going to send you to places which are going to be incredible and private. You know, you're not going to have in the background of your safari or the background of your video engines going and people talking and radios crackling. We feel that really, really detracts from the safari experience. The other thing is going to these remote areas is more ethical. You really do feel like you're doing more for the area, because one camp in a large area, if that camp wasn't there, the poaching would be rife. So tourism stops all of that. It employs people from the local community in that area. And if you go to one of the more popular destinations that everyone's heard of, yes, you are contributing because you're paying park fees, but think of how much contribution that area gets compared to another area which is being fought for by the small amount of tourism that's there. And it's just lovely to see animals that are properly wild, and then, you know, they haven't had to get used to 100 vehicles parked around them. So that is our big kind of tip for this year and next year and every year is trust us. Let's get you off the beaten track. Let's get you to areas where there's no people and amazing wildlife. That will make for a much, much better safari experience.